Hey guys, in today's video we'll look into fake positivity. What do I mean by that? Well, if you tend to somehow see everything positive even though your life really looks miserable, then we may have to look a little bit closer. It's actually quite a coping strategy that has maybe helped you for a long period, okay? And I can really relate to this one. So if you are a person who is always trying to be happy, look happy, show off as I don't need any help, I can do it by myself, everything is okay. If you're kind of in this path, then this video is exactly for you. My name is Patricia, I'm a life coach, and hey, if you are here to look for your blind spots, then have a look into the description box and maybe we can work together. Okay, with this said, let's start into today's video. Now, first to say, being optimistic and having a positive view, which by the way, positive really just means like lighter emotions, kind of like more in the happy mood, and negative means more in the sadness and in the heaviness, while we have always both, okay? Being optimistic and being super optimistic is sometimes seen as very, very great, right? We are even getting rewarded to always be optimistic, even though we don't feel like it. It's kind of rewarded to just say everything is okay and I can do it by myself. So kind of like they're even happy, and with them, or yeah, I mean society's happy when you can do everything by yourself, right? You don't need any help. You're not a weight for someone else, right? And maybe this is actually a trait from you, right? Where you have always tried to accomplish everything on your own, right? Maybe you had, I don't know, some ideas in life and you wanted to do them all by yourself. You try to kind of work it all out by yourself, right? You had your master plan, and if your master plan is failing, then basically that's it, right? Because you're only you. And so being optimistic can go in a direction where we really, really feel very lonely. And it's not a really a healthy balance, right? Being optimistic in a healthy way means that we have a quite a good and a balanced view in our life, so we can see that there are certain points that we may want to work on, and then there are other parts that are really, really great. And so, sometimes we do need the heaviness to actually bring the change in, right? The change doesn't happen from I'm happy with where I'm at. You know what I mean? So you do need the kind of the heaviness to pull this along, and so it helps you a lot. When we only stick into this very, very lovely idea of everything is great and we don't need anyone, and we don't deserve anyone, right? Because we haven't showed off worthy, maybe. There are many twists actually you have to look into, and I want you to really go deep and understand what that actually means for you, okay? What is it that makes you show up as optimistic? What is it that you feel that this is the only way you can show up? Maybe you have also a tendency to look quite strong in front of other people, right? You kind of have this presence of, you have the cover up, right? The wall. Like, I'm good by myself, please, goodbye. This kind of like, no one can come close. You have this kind of, maybe you're also in this field where you're like, okay, if someone is crossing that wall, I have a problem, right? I don't know how then navigate my life because you're coming too close and I don't want to show you how I really feel. And there are so many people out there who do this. I mean, maybe because I can relate to this myself, but I have seen really, really a lot of people who try to somehow manage everything by themselves because that was what they learned most of, right? They didn't got the help they once needed. And at one point you're just like, okay, well, I have to do it by myself because there is no one else. And that's how you manage to go through life. And then the optimistic kind of part comes in when you're trying to pretend for others, but also for yourself that you are okay. You pretend on such a high level that you may even believe yourself. You know what I mean? You may even believe everything is fine and you're okay, and this is the way how it's supposed to be, right? But that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not healthy. See, showing up as being always happy and in this kind of super mood and everything is light and blah blah, you're not facing the issues because life isn't going that way. Life doesn't work that way. Life has its up and downs, and what you're doing is you find the balance. You cannot only drive in here. That doesn't work, right? So you have to start to navigate through those waves that come in. That's natural, right? And when we start to really look into this, we have to understand what it is that we kind of feel that we cannot speak up. Most often, we haven't even told ourselves that we are not as happy as we may want to be. And it's so hard to break this wall because it means that we lie to ourselves. And it means that the mirror we hold in front of ourselves was maybe wrong. Right? I felt this was the biggest betrayal I could do to myself because I really believed it. I really believed it all my 20s, all through my 20s, I believed it. I really thought I was happy. You see, you can really do a lot to make sure that you believe yourself, you know, you can cover it up and you really believe that. How do you break those kind of cycles when you start to see that they don't really work? I believe being super, super honest with yourself is the most important. Start to look down in your life and start to maybe even write it down and start to see what are those bullet points that I have ignored. What have I not allowed myself to see? You see? What is it that I tried to hide? And so this can be quite a heavy task, right? Because you're really facing all your fears. You're facing a lot. So give yourself some time and be patient with yourself. And it's actually an exercise that can take a few days, right? Because you're going and you're digging deep. And I believe this is exactly the right timing right now where we have to look into what is really holding us back. And at this moment, you're actually holding yourself back. So you have to return to the present moment because you're somewhere else. You're not really present. You're trying to avoid to face what is really going on. And that is actually hindering you to move or get past that. So you will repeat what you have done already. You will ignore your own feelings. You will ignore your own needs and kind of treat you crappy, right? You deserve better than that. You don't have to treat yourself crappy. You can actually treat yourself really well. And actually asking for help. You know, today someone told me, and he was an elderly man, and he told me, why didn't you ask for help before? I was like, well, I thought I can do it by myself. I was like, that's stupid. That's so stupid. And I'm like, Yeah, you're really right. You know, I'm still learning in progress, student in progress, learning in progress, or how that calls. So I'm learning that too, right? I'm learning to release that judgment that when I need help, to actually really get the help I need. And so I want you to really exactly do the same. Ask for help. Be sure or be clear what are your needs. You don't have to cover up yourself that, you know, if you feel good or bad. I always did that to not be a problem for my family or my friends. I try to not be the problem. I'm the problem solver, but I'm not the problem, you see. And I guess you know, you have to really understand why you're doing that. In my case, it was because of my early days where I had troubles in school all the time because I didn't meet the standards that I supposed to, or that I was supposed to achieve. And so I was always the kind of the troublemaker, not in a sense that I was loud or anything like that. I just didn't deliver what they've asked me to. And um, and that brought me in a lot of trouble. So I always tried to kind of hide in the later stage because I didn't want to go there anymore. I didn't want to ask for help and go in that direction. And so I really, really encourage you to talk. Talk. Get a coach, talk about it, and start to make progress that actually works for you. Start to look into those fields that are there, because they're there no matter if you look at them or not. You see? And that's the biggest lesson I've learned is you can avoid as long as you want. The problem is that it's not going anywhere. It will just pop up again. You see, another time, another day, but it will come again, simply because that's life, right? Where or what you suppress is always coming, returning. It's always coming, always, always, always. I had so many times when I was like, thanks God, I'm done with this. And then it came up again. And I was like, no way. I mean, really, right? And then I was at one point, you go with the flow. You really do. You really do. Something pops up like this. And what you do is you don't judge yourself. You don't blame yourself for not doing or knowing better. Then, you start to really look into this and just be okay with being judged from someone else. Who cares? But don't judge yourself. You see, you're already doing the best you can, so there is no point. There is no point in doing that at all. So I'm sure that you're doing great. Anyways, so I want to know from you, are you someone who is trying to show up strong? I don't need any help. And on top, you look quite optimistic. But underneath, there is a lot of pain. Underneath, there is maybe anger even, or something really, really deep. And maybe you haven't really seen that. Maybe you really thought that the way you showed up is the real you. That's really much possible, right? Very, very much possible. So let me know in the comment section if you can relate to this, if this is something you know. I'm really curious to hear. And with this said, have a wonderful, with me it's almost evening, so last sun catches, right? Yeah, we speak really soon. Thanks and goodbye. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, also give it a thumbs up, so it actually can spread a little bit more and maybe support one more person, which is actually already a lot. So thanks again, and I talk to you soon.